Greetings, I'm Ijit Yatinze from Rwanda. Glad to be here. Ijit, nice. I'm from Rwanda too. As I said, we're starting our webinar now, and people who joined a little bit late. My name is Angel. I'm from Rwanda, and I'm a moderator today with my colleague that will come later. Today marks an important milestone in 2025, as it is our very first movement in 2025. And thank you. And the primary goal of this webinar is to set the goals, is to set the priorities of 2025. What do we want to do? What are we aiming? How best should we be serving you? How do you want to be served? And to see what we did last year, to hear your inputs, and to share the progress we made over the first year. And of course, to prepare the exciting regional campaign that we want you to be a key part of. That is the main priority, the main goal, the main primary goal of this webinar. And your ideas, your feedback will be a backbone of the strategy moving forward. So please, I want an interaction. I want the webinar that is more exciting. I believe, I trust we're going to have one of the best webinars now. So first things first, we apologize. We're not going to be providing the translation. We know how this is important to you, to many of us, but next time, in the future, we'll be providing these services, and our sessions will be inclusive. So bear with us today. We're not providing the translation services. So I can ask to share our agenda today. If someone can help. Next slide, the agenda. Oh, I'll be moderating, I and Faith. You'll be excited for these moderators. Next. I'll go back in the chat box and they see what is not on Google. You people, Mariam said one thing not on Google is my password. Interesting. My book is not yet on Google. I'll go back and see. So the agenda of today's webinar is we're going to have the overview of the United. We're going to see, and we're going to share the 2024 recap. We'll have the survey sharing. We'll have the breakout room activities. And yes, we'll do a closing remark. It is a straightforward agenda, smart, and of course, it's exciting. So I believe we're going to have one of the best, as I said, webinar today as we start our 2025. Next. So I will welcome my second moderator, Faith, and she's going to take us through the next slides. I'll come back later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angel, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Faith Thipe, and I'm based in Botswana, and I'm the United Movement Project Officer working with Y+ Global. We are very delighted to have you with us this afternoon. May I kindly request that if you are not prompted to talk, you keep your microphones on mute so that we don't disturb the engagements that we are going to have on this call. As I've mentioned, we are very delighted to have you on this particular call, which marks the first kickoff call of many to come for United Movement, and mainly just for us to gather your priorities for the year and how we as the United Movement Steering Committee, we can best serve your interest as the members, how you want us to engage you throughout the year. And for those who are new in this particular call, we would love to give a little bit of background on what United Movement is. United Movement is a movement that is led by amazing young people across East and Southern African region with youth-led networks as well, who are advocating for HIV. Marianne, thank you. Who are advocating for HIV SRHR in one voice through enhancing capacities, collaborating and leveling up jointly in advocacy. We aim to accelerate youth-led responses towards HIV and SRHR commitments and collectively address the persisting challenges that we face in the Eastern and Southern region, Africa region as young people. And also just as a bit of background of how United Movement came about, it culminated after the United Summit that we held in 2023, led by Y Plus Global and AfriEN, supported by UNICEF, UNFPA, and UNAIDS. We have some of the representatives in the call. If you can give the thumbs up, that would be lovely. That's just basically it. And we are looking forward to collaborate with all of you on this call and ensuring that we also mobilize more young people to come on board to take up on this particular joint advocacy that we're trying to lead on, and also just to build a network of young people who are forming this movement to really showcase that youth leadership is impactful. With that said, I would love to say that if you want to learn more about the movement and you want to join the movement, you can look at the links that I'll drop on the chat box. But without wasting any time, I'd love for you to view this video as a snippet of what went on in 2024 before Angel Babire comes on board to give us like a concise update on the advocacy activities that we've done, and even beyond advocacy spaces, the work that we've done as a movement. Thank you. Next slide, which is the video, please. Great, thank you so much. That's just updates in pictorials, and from here we'll get more updates into what those pictures mean and what exactly what was happening behind those pictures. And I'd love to give the floor over to Angel Babiri.
Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you so much, Tawanda, for that lovely video of a recap of what happened in 2024. Kindly help me with the slides. So thank you so much, Faith and Tawanda, for that lovely video. So now I just basically want to give you a brief recap of what happened in 2024. 2024 was an amazing year for the United Movement. We started it with a joint reflection and planning, basically a kickoff call like the one we are on right now to set the pace and reflect and plan on how best we can intensify the United Movement. And during this call, we were also looking at how to mobilize youth networks and how to also increase inclusiveness and also diversity. At United Movement, we recognize that we're amplifying young people's voices, but then we also recognize that young people are unique and diverse based on their context and things of that sort. So we wanted to make sure that no young person is left behind, regardless of their age, their background, name it, to kind of level the field. So the other thing that we were looking at that we did in 2024 was basically to scale up our coverage. In 2023, we had a call for the United Movement where we're planning now for 2024. And then we had 100 members in the United Movement, but I'm glad to share that that number actually, is it doubled, tripled in 2024, and we're now able to have 300 members. And that is something that we boast of as the United Movement. So we're really able to look and see how best do we scale up our coverage, how best do we maximize our, scale up our reach. And one of the other things that we also looked at was the quality of our work. We, as you well know, we have advocacy, we have capacity strengthening, we have linking, sharing, and learning. So one of the things that we were really looking at was how best do we then, in those different groups, achieve our objectives as the United Movement. And it's one of the things that we are glad to have done in 2024. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes, and in 2024, advocacy was really a key tool for United. Like I mentioned, we have 3 working groups, but one of the things that we really pride ourselves in is that we are advocates for young people and their needs. So one of the things that we did in the year of 2024 was we were able to welcome new African members. As you've seen in the video that they've just shared, we were able to welcome, and I'm actually part of the team that was welcomed, and also Angel, who is the host, was also part of this team. So we're able to welcome and onboard new African members. Then we also participated in the 5th South African Regional Students and Youth Conference. It was hosted by SEWAT and the University of Botswana. We were also able to contribute to the development of the Youth Declaration on AIDS 2024. And we also participated on the dialogue on SADC model law on ending child marriage with key stakeholders. One of the other engagement spaces that United was in was the SADC directors meeting, where a CSO declaration was presented with key programming recommendations. And away from that, we also co-organized 2 plenary sessions at Youth Connect Africa. Next slide, please. Thank you. Then we were also able to participate in the Region AIDS Team East and Southern Africa, otherwise known as the RATESA. And we also participated in the consultation with religious and traditional leaders as the United Movement. And we were also able to have representation at the AHA framework and ESSA ministerial commitment on health and well-being. But at the United Movement, we are very keen on participating in these conferences because we know that there is a lot of deliberations that are made that end up affecting young people. So I know very many people on the call would be like, oh, they've been participating in all this. What does it mean for young people? We make sure that even as we participate, it is not tokenistic in nature, and we make sure that young people's voices are actually heard in all these different spaces that we occupy. For example, during the consultation with the religious and traditional leaders, we were able to further link them with the different country chapters we have so that these young people can actually hold these leaders accountable on the different commitments that they've made so that they can actually turn them into real action. When it comes to, for example, the workshop on the AHA framework and the ESSA ministerial commitment, we had a huge number of United Movement members who were part of this. And they were really, you could really feel the youth voices in this meeting, and there was a lot of calls to action that young people did, and also advocacy, for example, around inclusion of young people who've been left behind in programming, like young people out of school. We were able to amplify and see how best we can also ensure that those young people are included in interventions and programming. So you can really see that our participation wasn't just surface level, it was really in depth, and we were able to move away with tangible results. And we also participated in the international workshop on adolescence, SRHR and HIV, parallel skills building session and youth networking events. And here we're just basically looking at how, like, what are the needs of the young people and how best do we now add young people's voices so that they can inform programming. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then, so that was on the part of advocacy. Then on the part of capacity strengthening and sharing, linking and learning, in 2024, one of the things that we embarked on as the United Movement, we hosted 2 advocacy amplified webinars, and I believe a number of us were actually able to join in and share our thoughts. One was around SRHR, HIV, and NMHPSS, and the other was around climate change and SRHR, because the 2 are interlinked and affect each other. Then we also looked at expanding our social media reach and engagements through blogs and messages. I think you'll look at the link tree that Shanice will share, Faith will share for more information on how young people can, on how young people's voices can help in development of these policies and things of the sort. And you can also engage with our social media platforms so that you are, you have timely updates. Then we also had online spaces, including one about the Pre-Youth Connect Africa Online session on youth-led innovation in mental health and SRHR. And we also had a pre-World AIDS Day gender-based violence, HIV, SRHR youth dialogue for the future. So that is a part of the work that we were able to do in 2024. And we really appreciate everyone who really contributed to it. Your voices, your insights, your inputs are very valuable to the United Movement. So we thank you so much for the different efforts that you were able to give in support of this work. And I want to remind you that if any of you has not yet signed up to be a member, please do so using the link that Faith has shared in the chat so that you can join in. And if any of you would like to know more about our work that we did in 2024, or even about the movement as a whole, there is also another link so that you can find more information about the work that we have done and see how best it interests you and how best you can join and contribute. So we want to hear from you, and we would love to hear your thoughts so that we can know how best we can move the United Movement. So you can let us know your thoughts by scanning this QR code that's been shared on the screen, and then take a part of this survey. So that's really been it. That's the work that we're able to do in 2024. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Angel Babide, and I'm the president of African ESSA, and I'm very glad to have each and every one of you on this call. Thank you. Over to you, Faith.
Thank you so much, Angel, for the lovely presentation. And I would love to open the floor for 1 or 2 individuals who would like to give us an update of what they've been doing at country level, or if at all you were part of one of these engagements and you just want to say 1 or 2 words about your experience, about how the movement has strengthened your capacity through these engagements, do raise your hand and we'll give you the floor. And we can't take many others. You can maintain using the chat box to share on those experiences, and we will read from there. There is a survey QR code that has been presented before us on the screen right now, and I know it's not new to most of us because we've shared this through our social media pages, we've shared this through our WhatsApp, and this is building up on what we have already shared, and would like to gather more voices of United Movement members and young people. If you have a network of young people around you, please do share this survey with them so that they can help us build the priorities for our regional campaign on HIV and SRHR for SR region that will be co-created with you as young people. And you will also get the opportunity to lead on it in terms of its from design to implementation and its monitoring, if it was effective or not. With that said, when you are scanning the QR code to answer the survey, I would allow for any hands if we have any hands before we move to our next agenda item. I don't see any hands. Does that mean no one wants to? Okay. We will share the link on the chat box as well. Thank you. Well, I guess we can move to the next agenda item, but before we move to the next agenda item, I would like to urge all of you to make sure that you take time to respond to that survey so that we get accurate voices of the survey priorities for our regional campaign. And our next session would be on breakout rooms. We're going to have 3 breakout rooms on the 3 main key themes that United Movement work centers around, being youth-led advocacy, capacity strengthening, linking, sharing, and learning. And in these breakout room sessions, there would be lead facilitators to assist you with driving the conversation so that we can get to hear more from you, how we can best serve you as the movement on doing what we do for young people with young people. And yeah, you will be assigned breakout room. Make sure that you accept the request when it comes on. We are trying to balance the numbers so that the conversations can be meaningful and more balanced. When you get the invite to the breakout room, please do accept it. You will have a lead person in that room to lead you with the discussions. You can volunteer yourself to take the notes, to come and do the entire plenary feedback session as well. And this session will last us for 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, we'll be reporting back to the main room, all of us. For those who wanted the survey link, Eddie has shared the link on our chat box. Please do get that. Thank you. Tawanda, you can go ahead with the breakout rooms.
I believe everyone is back now. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to go ahead with the presentation from each group. Which one wants to start? And you're going to present what the ideas, the insights from your breakout session to the main group. So I think we can go ahead with the capacity strengthening. Let's start. Over to
I
you.
don't know. I don't know if Angel, you had seen my hand before you chose capacity strengthening, or if you just decided to choose capacity strengthening
You know,
because you thought we were done.
go ahead, Angel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, so thank you so much for the floor. We were able to meet with amazing young people who are doing amazing work in their different communities, in the capacity strengthening working group. And questions, we had two questions. Very first one was, what specific skills or capacities do young people require to navigate an evolving advocacy landscape? And one of the among the many brilliant and amazing answers the young people are able to give was digital literacy. I think we can't undermine the importance of social media or even online platforms and digital tools, and how we can use them to amplify the message, to amplify the voices of young people, to rally supporters, to engage with decision makers. And yes, that's one of the things that really came out. So the other one was public speaking skills, because if, for example, you're going to advocate, you need to know how best to speak in public, but then also how best to structure your arguments or your advocacy points so that other people can get it and also mobilize support. Then we also looked at campaign skills, and we also looked at persuasive writing. Are you able to, for example, write the stories of the different challenges that young people in your community are facing, so that you can promote change in whatever space you are in whatever advocacy space you're in? Then the young people also say that storytelling is very important as a skill that we can use to navigate this evolving advocacy landscape, that we can bring, we can share stories from our community and bring that real life perspective in the different advocacy spaces that we hold, so that people can know how different challenges are affecting young people at the grassroots. And another that we're looking at is the importance of networking, but it is important for us to look into it's important for us to look into networking and forming partnerships, building those relationships with other organizations, with other movements, with other stakeholders, so that we are able to push towards a common goal. And then lastly, or second last, we also looked at, we have local organizations working at the grassroots. Then how best can we re-strategize and work with them so that we can integrate, so that work with them and integrate work beyond the movement, so that even when the United Movement is not present in that community, at least we have those local organizations coming in and filling in that gap. But then also on the part of integration, so that we are not only looking at one particular thing. If for example we are advocating around HIV, then can we at least also integrate it with mental health services? Can people come to a particular center or a particular organization and have that what's the word, that holistic that holistic approach, that it's not only a one-off service? Then we were also looking at the other skills that we can develop are individual leadership, where we specifically are very intentional about mentoring young people. And I really liked this because the person was like, young people even as young as 13 and below, how then do we mentor them, build their capacity so that they're able to tackle community challenges and bring those innovative solutions as young people? So that was our first question, and you can hear the amazing insights the young people shared. Then our next question and our last was, what specific skills, tools, or resources are most needed to sustain the movement? To which young people still highlighted digital literacy. It came out very prominently that we can leverage social media and also online platforms, like getting on Zoom meetings like this one, and just basically building the capacity of the young people in that particular area. We can also use online webinars. We can leverage platforms like Microsoft Teams, and we can also use hashtag campaigns on, for example, in the different advocacy spaces that we are in or that we engage in as a united movement. If it is, for example, Unite to End AIDS, then we all can, join in on that and see how best we can push for that. We've also looked at tutorials would be really, really helpful to disseminate information. And there is also, we can look into resource hubs where we, for example, can have pamphlets on different advocacy issues that we are facing, and also to provide this factual information to young people. Then there is also ongoing surveys where we can map out the different changes in the landscape. And then as I conclude, we can also become very intentional about mentoring the young people on the ground, and also look at community ownership of the different projects that we are having, so that the people at the community have that sense of ownership and are also able to push for these things at community level. So that's it from capacity strengthening. Thank you so much, everyone, for your insights. And Angel, over to you.
Thank you very much, Malaika. This was amazing, and let's go ahead with the advocacy group.
Okay, thank you so much, Angel, for the floor. So advocacy group had amazing time. They discussed a couple of questions. Perhaps it's only advocacy that had a lot of questions, but we managed to discuss these questions, and we came up with relevant answers. So the first question that we had was, what are the most urgent advocacy priorities for the United Movement 2025? So the members in the advocacy breakout room discussed that we need an increase in domestic financing by African governments, because we know that there is US stop order that has really impacted the response of HIV and SRHR services in most African countries, including in the Eastern and Southern Africa. So young people, we do need to advocate for the increase in domestic funding, but also we do need to put the SRHR should remain the breast for the funding. Perhaps SRHR should not be sidelined, but more funding should be put into this, because it's what is shaping the future of the world. And also the members in the advocacy, they also answered this question by mobilizing a lot of young people to advocate for at least for long acting HIV drugs, including injectables. Even though this is debatable, but through advocacy, a well-planned advocacy, we can make this possible. Although these injectables, they're kind of expensive, but through advocacy, we can increase the demand. And at the end, we can come up with cheaper injectables to be accessible by a lot of people. And also, young people also responded to this question that we do need to advocate for the youth empowerment, especially for the youth, those who are out of school, for them to support their life, because most of the times, young people who are in schools, young people who are in youth clubs are those who are targeted. Those young people out of school, they are sidelined. So we do need to have programs that are inclusive from the advocacy group.
At some point, we lost you, Yami. I don't know if it is me or me.
Discuss that they're supposed to see advocates, because young people, for them to advocate with a tangible results at the end, and also for young
I think we've lost the Amikani.
We lost Yami.
Anyone from the advocacy working group who wants to take over?
Anyone?
Seems like Amikani is having internet connections. anyone from the advocacy breakout room who wants to take over from where Yamikani left off?
Or in the interest of time, we go to the linking and sharing and learning, and then come back to advocacy later. Maybe Yami will be back.
Yeah.
Okay. The linking, sharing, and learning group.
Yes,
Kindly
thank you
share
so
your-
much.
Thank you.
Can you please confirm if you can hear me in past?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Thank you. For the linking, sharing, and learning, we had 3 questions, and our first question was, what platforms or methods can we use to effectively share experiences, data, and best practices? So from what even Angela said, it's about the first one is social media. Of course, we really do understand the power of social media, and also it's the reason why we are here, you know. So one, of course, was social media, ensuring that we are tapping into resources like platforms like Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp channels, Twitter, and Instagram, especially where young people are. And then the second platform is the youth-friendly spaces, just ensuring that young people can be able to come and interact with other young people and learn from their experiences and their best practices. That was the first question. The second one is, how can we ensure that our linking and learning efforts are inclusive and accessible to all? The first answer that was mentioned is ensuring that the language is clear and simple. So just maybe avoiding the use of jargons and all that. So simplifying messages to ensure that every other young person, be it from any corner of village or something, so that they can be able to understand what we are meaning. And also even using local languages so that it is specific to them. They can be able to relate to such language to our information. The third one is ensuring that we have a feedback mechanism from young people to the United Movement and Writers Global. So we felt like this is an important thing so that there is ownership from the young people, that we can feel like this is a platform where we can provide feedback on how we have interacted maybe with tools from the United Movements that have already been provided, and what is working and what is not working for the young people. The fourth one is including young people from different countries in designing of the learning tools, including customizing to the unique experiences of their countries. So customization is really important. And of course, from the advocacy groups, saying about domestic financing. So of course, with the domestic financing, that means that this is in each and every country's context. So how are the learning tools that are provided able to be relatable to the different countries that United Movement is targeting? The fifth language is using information and methods that young people can relate to. So more reviews and surveys before and after campaign. So for a campaign to happen, and providing reviews to ensure that there is participation from the young people and the young people feel included in the different campaigns. The last point for the second question is ensuring youth leadership. So young people should be at the center of learning efforts and leading discussions. Our third question is, how can we facilitate peer support systems and that empower youth-led networks and advocates to learn from each other? So the first one is leveraging leveraging digital and offline platforms. This is very important, as I had mentioned from the first question. The second thing is fostering cross-network collaboration. So especially even in the joint initiative. So how can I be able to learn from Tanzania or Uganda, for example, and how can they be able to learn from me? So fostering this cross-network collaboration will ensure that we are speaking in one language and youth leadership is promoted. The last comment is facilitating annual regional and global youth networks, creating easy and accessible youth-led toolkits. So there's need for a lot of engagement for young people. Hopefully this year, that we can be able to attend annual regional and global youth networks to learn and to link and also network with other young people and also partners, implementing partners from different countries. And if we can be able to develop an easy and accessible youth-led toolkits, that will be great for us this year. Yes, thank you. That was from the linking, sharing, and learning group. I submit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, linking and sharing and learning group. Can you go back to advocacy? If Yami Khan is back, kindly confirm. Yami, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm back, but I'm struggling with my network over here.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear
So
me?
we lost you. We can hear you, and we lost you when you're at the point of the youth empowerment. You can
Oh,
start there.
okay. My
On the
apologies for that. My
Yeah. It's okay.
apologies. Okay, so Angel, could you please explain me?
You're answering the first question about the most urgent, the first question, and you're on the third point after the injectables, and you started with the youth empowerment. You can continue with further.
Oh, question. And on the first question, young people in the action that we need to advocate for it. Now, quickly go to the second question. We are answering the question on how can we strengthen youth-led advocacy, starting from the local, region, and the global levels. So young people in the advocacy breakthrough room discussed that we need to target and focus much on the capacity strengthening in the young advocates, because if these young advocates, they are well trained, were well equipped, it is easier for them to strengthen different youth-led advocates that are putting a lot of interventions in HIV and SRHR. And also we had another question that was, how can we collaborate with different youth-led networks and young people for us to co-develop advocacy campaigns that may respond to the current challenges? So in this question, it also came up about the capacity building, because we understand that if young people are indeed well trained in the advocacy, if they are going to advocate with evidence based, it is easier for them to collaborate, and it is easier for them to really tackle pressing issues that are affecting the young people. And also, it also comes that young people, we need to integrate. You must not much focus on the something about SRHR, but we need to take much sectoral approach for them to achieve their desired goal in their advocacy journey. Thank you so much. Angel, over to you. That's for advocacy growth.
Thank you very much. I want to open now the floor to each and every person. Ooh, what just happened? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, yes, we can.
Thank you very much. I'm opening the floor to everyone to give you ideas on what exactly we're talking about, whether in advocacy, whether in capacity strengthening, whether in the linking and sharing and learning group. Depending or basing on what they just shared, what are your insights, how, we want to see, we want to hear from the audience, from the whole group at large. What are your insights on what they just shared, or have they left anything behind? I can see In the chat group, they're saying the interaction of SRI-HR services to other multi-sectoral approach. Integration of SRI-HR services to other multi-sectoral approach. You can unmute and speak, or you write in the chat box. The floor is open. They just shared the link. You can use it. Faith just shared in the chat box. Any comments? In the interest of time, I'll go through the points they just shared with us, and I pray I don't leave anything behind. I'll start with the capacity strengthening group. I won't read the questions. I'll just remind you of what they just said. One was about the digital tools. Another one was about the online webinars. Okay, I'll have to read the question so that you know what we're talking about now. Capacity strengthening. The first question was, what specific skills or capacities do young people require to navigate and involve advocacy landscape? And another question was, what specific skills, tools, or resources are most needed to sustain the movement? So their answers were digital tools, online webinars, hashtag campaigns, tutorials to disseminate information, ongoing surveys, and mentoring young people on the ground. So I will share this in the chat box in the interest of time. And now the next item on our agenda, I'll just give it to Faith.
Thank you, Angel, and thank you to everyone for those lovely contributions on different areas that are priorities for United Movement. And we will take all the priorities and flesh them out and see how we can fit them into our overall work plan. We'll do share the outcome of this meeting with you all on the email as well as WhatsApp. And if there's anything that you'd like to add to the discussions, please do feel free to do so. There's somebody who just dropped a message on the chat box saying they want to join as a member. We shared the links on membership sign up and on the link tree to learn more about the movement and the work that we've done so far. And I've also shared the link to our survey. Please do respond to that survey. Your voices are very critical in shaping our priorities for 2025. I know some of you couldn't make your contributions during the breakout sessions because of time, and that survey will come in handy to ensure that your voice counts and is captured in the mapping of what we'll be doing for this year as a movement. Abdi says, my question is, where do social accountability fit in those three aspects? Anyone who wants to answer to Abdi? I want to spotlight on part of the steering committee members that we have on the call. We have Nicholas, we have Joyce, we have Shanice. If you can please switch on your cameras to say hi. We have Ravel. And Nicholas, if you can unmute and answer Abdi's question, please do so.
Okay, thanks, Faith. And, sorry. Yeah, and just to say thanks to our moderators and also a huge thanks to all our 40 plus participants in this webinar. Very exciting. It's been very enriching conversations and also learning in terms of what you consider to be priority across the 3 bucket areas that we have. So for me, social accountability, I would say, falls within advocacy. It's also part of the overall advocacy tools that are used. So social accountability could be a particular focus on making sure that all these wonderful commitments we are getting out of our advocacy engagements actually translates into action. So that's one component of social accountability. And I'm sure there will be very interesting new tools and resources that will be coming up from United to support part of the work that you're all doing at country level. But the other important aspect of social accountability, which is also very important, is the social accountability around improving quality of services. And that is the other part that we are also quite interested in as well. So while we discuss what your priorities look like for advocacy, I think it would also be if social accountability is a major theme, we do encourage you to include it in the survey, in your feedback, and it could be an area of interest for us, either to provide tools and also to do some sort of capacity building, strengthening for all the leaders that are interested in this particular area. It could even be a webinar, and we could also do some sort of mapping to find out what is already there by partners. And I know we do have UNAIDS on the call. They've done quite a lot of work around community-led monitoring, which is part of social accountability, but also UNFPA has done quite a lot of work around social accountability in terms of advocacy commitments from our leaders and partners as well. So it's really an area we are interested in. I see it fall quite directly within the bucket of advocacy. So I hope I've answered your question, Abdi. Thanks.
Thank you, Nicholas, for the comprehensive answer. And we have come to the end of our lovely session, and I would like to take this moment to thank Y Plus Global and Afrian, who are the co-conveners of the United Movement, and the partners who are supporting the movement, being UNICEF, UNAIDS, and UNFPA. And to also thank you, the United Movement members. We won't be having a movement without the members. You are the fuel that keeps the car going, and we are really grateful for all the insights that you have given to us today. We do want to let you know that we'll give you the feedback of the outcome of this meeting, consolidated, even the survey. We'll do come back to you and share the outcomes of the survey for you to let us know if indeed it captured what you had discussed and we have not added any sugar and spices anyway. And that is our commitment as our next step from now. And this is not the first and the last engagement from United Movement. We want to assure you that we will have many more of this and different kind of engagements within the United Movement. Please do sign up for the movement if you have not signed up. The links are on the chat box. Do fill in the survey if you have not filled it yet. If you have filled it, but you know a young person who you know that their voice matters as well, please share it with them to contribute to the survey as well. If you have any questions regarding to anything United Movement related, feel free to send us an email. You can send the email to my email that usually sends the invites to you, or you can send an email to leadersunitedmovement@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to respond to your questions or any queries. And I did appreciate one of the key points that were given in the linking and learning breakout rooms, that we need to establish feedback mechanisms for United Movement, for young people to give us feedback, whether we are on track with our priorities and what they want for them and we are not off track, that is very commendable, and we also hold ourselves accountable to ensure that we have such mechanisms in place. Please do also follow us on all our social media platforms at United Movement. Invite your friends, family, cousins, young people to like, follow, and engage with our content. And the year, now we can say we have officially launched the year and we are going higher from here, and looking forward to working with all of you in all different capacities. Thank you. And I would love for us to switch on our cameras to take a picture. If you can, we would really appreciate that. Tawanda will assist us with the picture. When you are ready, please say United Movement. Then Tawanda will capture the picture.
Thank you so much, Faith. Let's just give it a few more seconds for everyone to get a chance to turn on their cameras.
Are we ready? In 1, 2, 3. United Movement.
United Movement.
Movement.
Okay, maybe we can do another one.
Okay.
Okay,
And
are we
1,
ready?
United Movement.
United
Movement.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely week ahead of you. And we are looking forward to staying connected with you all. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.